Pamela will take you right after Brian.
All right.
So,
And it's actually Janita who will be reporting out today, Janita Hamill,
okay, all right.
DCP.
Okay, so CHFA, you're up. Shoot.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks again for moving us to being the first presenter today. Like we said, Colette and I have another obligation we have to jump to right after this. But let me see if I could share my screen here briefly. Put it here. Move that there. So yeah, last time we met back in September, we were reviewing how CHFA has recently revamped and enhanced the mobile manufacturing housing program. We combined the refinance and the purchase programs to be one program, simplified, and it's at a fixed rate of 3%. And the beauty of it is it does go up to 100% financing or $150,000 loan amount. Borrower can contribute their own funds after the 150. It's fixed for 30 years, again at a low rate of 3%. And it really kind of solves a big hurdle that had been existing before, where the borrower was required previously on a purchase to use the 20% down payment. So now, borrower could use 150,000, and in theory, could go up to 100% CLTV. What else can I tell you? It's still, all the other rules still apply. It has to be in a licensed Connecticut mobile home park, and the borrower could pay anything above and beyond. There is no subordinate financing, but we've seen great success with this program. Just stop sharing. Okay. And our figures since the last time we met have been quite strong. So with the program, since September 18th up until now, I just pulled the most recent numbers, and we've added 33 more reservations in that time span, which totals a little over $4 million. At the previous meeting, we had strong numbers. We had 29 reservations for about $3.5 million for a 4-month span covering mid-May to mid-September. So as you can see, this 3-month span is showing even stronger growth, given the fact that we've exceeded over 4 million with 33 additional reservations. So since we've relaunched the program on May 21st, we've had 62 total reservations, which is a huge jump over what the program was previously yielding. 60 of those loans have been purchase applications, 2 have been refinances. The total funds reserved has been shade over $7.5 million. The median loan amount for this program has been $121,000. So as you can see, it's pretty close to that 125 max. We've had 37 loans purchased thus far, meaning that they've closed to completion and been, transferred to the investor. And it's been picking up growth. We had 7 purchased in September, 8 in October, 10 in November, and 2 so far in December, and it's only December 3rd. The current pipeline is still active. We have 20 active reservations in the pipeline. 6 are already committed, meaning that our underwriters have looked at it and approved it. They're just awaiting closing. And then 13 more are have reservations created, but they haven't been sent to us yet for approval. And 1's on hold. There's only been 5 cancellations, so the pull-through rate has been tremendous because, again, 62 total reservations, only 5 cancellations. And we have 4 lenders that are pretty active with it. First World Mortgage has done 34 of our reservations. Total Mortgage Services has done 21. Capital for Change has covered 5, and Thomaston Savings Bank 2. There are 2 additional lenders on the list that offer the program, Cross Country Mortgage. They have yet to do one, and Chelsea Groton was recently added on November 5th. They had been previously approved back in May, and they needed additional training and needed to build out their system. They achieved that goal, and since November 5th, they have been active. I've yet to see a loan from them, but hopefully that'll change soon because I know there's a lot of mobile manufactured parks in Southeast Connecticut where they tend to have their concentration of branches. But I'm really pleased with the numbers and pleased with the fact that the enhancements to the program really seem to be resonating and making an impact in the market. That covers my stuff. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No, I just want to say I think it's an amazing program. I did actually send an email to the regional the Council of Governments, the Regional Council of Governments. She stated to me that she would send it along to the CEOs. Unfortunately, I forgot to. Dave, you're up next. I see your hand. please use a little hand raise in the chat box, please. See the raise your hand and I'll see that. So I just wanted to let you know that I did send that off to our Council of Governments. I think I'm going to go a little further and send it to the planners in the region and the other councils of governments in Connecticut. So thank you for this program.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Dave, you had a question. You had your hand raised. You have to unmute.
Okay, is that all right?
Yep,
Yep, I
now
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you. Thank you.
Okay, Brian, could you just go over the four lenders that are the primarily bringing in these loans right now? I got
Sure.
First World Savings, Thomaston Savings. I missed the other two.
Yep. So First World Mortgage Corp, and Total Mortgage Services. Those are actually two of our biggest lenders overall. They do lots of volume with Chaffa, with single family housing and like residential housing. So I'm proud to say that they're doing a great job with it. So those are two big mortgage companies that have branches throughout Connecticut. Capital for Change is the third one. They were the existing mobile manufactured housing provider for many, many years, and they still are. They're third with 5 reservations. And the fourth one, you're right, is Thomaston Savings Bank. They're bigger kind of in Northwest Connecticut and Western Connecticut. And then again, Chelsea Grutton's brand new. They were added on November 5th, and they're very prevalent in Southeast Connecticut and Eastern Connecticut. And Cross Country Mortgage. They're another mortgage company with branches scattered throughout Connecticut. And yeah, unfortunately, they haven't created a reservation yet. But those are the 6 lenders that currently offer the program. And if you were to go to our website, let me see if I could share this real quick. Share. Boom. So if you go to our website, we have the program on our website. And if you were to scroll to the bottom, you will find on this page the lenders right here and their phone numbers and their
Okay.
email addresses. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful.
No problem. And I'll put
And-
this in the chat. Let's get rid of that. And chat. I'm getting good at Teams over the years. Here we go. Let's see. Boom. All right.
All right, great.
Cool.
Thank you, Brian. Does anyone have any other questions? And if you do, could you do me a favor and raise your hand on the top bars? It's easy for me to see the raise your hand. It's not easy for me to see all the screens at once. So if nobody has any other questions,
well,
we'll let you go.
Let me just hand it off to Colette before we leave. Just make sure
Okay.
that multifamily doesn't have any news to announce.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
no activity, no notices of sale of parks, so no updates.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys so
You're
much for accommodating us today.
All right. Have a happy
Appreciate it.
holidays.
Thank you, Brian.
You too.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays, everyone.
Okay, in the interest of DCP having to leave early, I'm going to move item 4 up before number 2. So Pamela or
Janita.
Janita, I'm sorry, Pamela or Janita, if you have an update, please please go for it. You're up.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I do have an update. I did provide a report to Rochelle for the Mobile Home Park Council for the time frame of August 21st, 2025 to November 20th of 2025. The investigation division received 4 complaints. 1 is open and still under investigation, and 3 complaints have been closed. 1 complaint was closed by the legal department with an assurance of voluntary compliance. And on the report, as I do for your council, all the commissions and boards that I report to, if the legal department closed it, I will always notice you on the report that said legal closed - contact legal, because I have no information to provide to you or any other board or council or commission as to what they did or why. So you would need to have the attorney who worked on the file come and speak to your body. The other 2 rather, excuse me. Excuse me. I apologize. The other
Okay.
two, were closed by one of the special investigators who works with Pamela and I to do mobile home parks for inspections and complaint investigations. The matter was investigated. It was not resolved. It's a dispute of facts, civil matter between the person and the park. The investigator found that the park did not violate any statutes. In the second one, again, between the resident and the park, it was not resolved. It was a dispute of facts. The gentleman was upset because the park is being sold, and the investigator found that the park offered twice the first right of refusal to them, and the resident association didn't, and they declined. And it's 7 parks that are together in this sale, and the association never responded. In the 60 days are up, the park didn't violate any statutes. So that's what we have on this report. Going back to the fact that you all had asked us about, is there some way we could get better descriptive information as to what the alleged issues are, rather than it just saying what they've had in the mobile home report and in our, excuse me. So Director Brown and I, the 2 special investigators, worked together, and then Director Brown worked with our IT group, and in the next coming report, for any mobile home park complaint that comes in, it will have a better description of what the issue is. Potholes, tree, water. So we broke it out, and we spent time to put in there what we think is a better description, and that you'll be able to see a better description instead of this generic between the resident, the mobile home, the condo association, or the landlord. The thing I want to make sure that the council members know is the mobile home parks for the licensing and investigation are under the real estate board. And we have to work within the parameters they have in that board for real estate. So while we're adding to it, there's some things that we can't take away from it. So we're going to have better descriptions, and it'll say if there was a pothole, there's trees overhanging, there's any kind of damage. They've got abandoned park. They've got unregistered cars. Basically the things that we would look for as we're going through and we're doing the inspection. So we're trying. So in the next meeting, those should be being picked up when the report is run.
Great.
And I just want
Um,
to add, Pamela Brown, I just want to add that we are testing that. So we are hoping that everything works because it was
Yeah.
just rolled out. So we just need a little bit of time, because there is a handheld inspection form that we use in our phones that has to actually sync with our database. So we're just making sure that everything works out. And as Janita said, we hope to have that to you at your next meeting.
All right,
Yeah.
great, thank you. And in the interest of time, we do have 3 questions. Dave, you're first, Rafe, you're next, Dan, you're after that, and we have to kind of keep it short because these folks have to leave in 5 minutes. So
Okay,
Dave, you're up.
thank you for being willing to give us the additional info. Is that going to be for open complaints, or is that information only going to be provided when it's closed? And just as a comment, I hope you were aware on the park that you mentioned was part of a 7-part portfolio, that the residents did try to exercise their right of first refusal, and when they did, the initial notification was for you could buy your park separately with separate selling prices. When the first park tried to exercise their right of first refusal, the owner rescinded the offer and said they had to buy all 7 parks. I just hope that's part of the record.
Thank you, Dave. Rafi, you're next.
Well, could you ask, let her answer the question first about we're going to get that information that they're going to provide during, when the complaint is open, or only after it's closed?
Pamela or
or
Janita?
no information is provided to any board, council, or commission when the matter is open. Information will only be provided will only show up on the report after it's closed. The information as far as what the alleged issues are will show up on an open file, but that's the only thing. It'll say if it's an abandoned,
Okay, that's fine. That's good then. That's fine.
that will be there as far as
Okay.
the alleged issue. It's not going to say it's a dispute. Excuse me, I'm so terribly sorry. It will not say it's a dispute with the mobile home park or the condo or the landlord. But there will be no information until the file is closed. As far
Right.
as the investigative part and the findings.
Understood.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Rafi, you're up next. Hello, Rafi? Your mic is off.
I think this has to go through your phone, Dave. So you have to make sure you're unmuted.
Now, who's speaking right now? Rafi, you're up next.
Rafi is on my phone, so you're going to have to
Oh.
strain to hear him.
Okay. But,
Yeah, so please turn it up if you will.
can I be heard?
It's all the way up.
You're also online, Rafi. But you're muted.
The speaker,
Because when you
Hold
raised
on.
your hand, it came up. So you should
Liz,
be able to
hold on one
unmute.
Okay.
Liz, hold on a second.
What
Rafi,
problem?
Rafi, hit your mute button at the upper right-hand corner of your screen. All right, take it off
Because-
mute.
Because Rafi, your
It says
your
my-
dial-in is on
I'm
the
sorry,
screen.
It says that I'm not connected to the speaker system. That's the problem.
All right,
That's
well,
why.
Okay.
Rafi, why don't you ask your question and I'll try to relay it.
Go ahead, Rafi.
Rafi, they can't hear you. I'm gonna hear it from Rafi. I'm gonna repeat it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rafi.
Felt in the closing of the case.
Okay,
Presumably the
all right,
investigator.
Rafi, we gotta be quick. You've got to be quick. Rafi's question is that the report, Janita said that at least one of the issues was closed because of a dispute of facts. And he says he didn't he says he doesn't understand why a dispute was closed by a dispute of facts. I guess his question would be, wouldn't the DCP be the fact finder?
The dispute of facts is between the park and the person making the complaint. So when the investigator was investigating it, there's the allegations made by the person making the complaint, and then there's the responses from the park owner or their attorney. And when looking at the allegations made versus the responses provided, the complainant there's a dispute between the both of them. But when looking at it, if there's any violations of mobile home statute or regulation, there wasn't. And that's why he said there were no violations. And there's a dispute between the two parties.
Rafe, you could hear that, right?
Yeah, I can hear that. I guess not knowing what the complaint was about, it's hard. It's
Well,
just hard
exact-
to relate that to anything.
All right, Rafe says that without knowing what the dispute is about, it's hard to relate to it at all. And since, we're, myself, from my perspective, I'd like to be able to know what it's about, but I guess we can know now that the file is closed, right?
Yes.
All right, well,
But in the
Why
future,
would-
hold on, Rafe. Go ahead,
in the
Janina.
future, with us having worked with IT to give more specific information as to what the alleged issues are from the complainant, will better help to understand what the outcome is and why it's a dispute.
All right,
All right, go for now.
all right, Rafe said we'll let it go in the interest of time, so I don't know if you have time for Dan's question.
Dan,
Yeah,
do you guys have
for Mr.
time for one more question for Mr. Billings? Dan, do you want to go ahead?
yes, ma'am,
Yeah,
I'll make
just-
time.
Yeah, just very quickly, annual inspections of parks, are they, is that open information? Can a copy be obtained?
Of all the parks have been inspected for the year.
Yes,
What?
is there a written report?
It's on the phone. It's generated, we generate information on the phone.
For
I guess the
for
question
an
is whether or
annual
not he can get a
inspection, no one
specific
goes out to
info.
the park?
Yes, we go out to the park, but
Okay,
we make a record of the inspection and what we find by typing into a program on the phone and
Okay.
taking a picture if there's an issue.
So he's asking if a copy of that, whatever is generated by the computer program, is available to a park, a resident for his park.
Pamela?
Yeah, it is available under Freedom of Information. You can get all of that information. So you can go to the portal and request it, and it will be available. The inspections, those are public record.
thank you.
And what is do you have a link that you could maybe post in the chat for this, the portal for FOIA requests?
I will do it.
Thank you. Okay, everybody good? Because I know that these folks have to, they have to leave, so.
Okay,
so,
well, Madam Chairman,
Yes,
Chairwoman,
ma'am.
thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And to your council as well. And I wish everybody safe, healthy, happy holidays. And I will see you at your next meeting. And
all right. Thank
we're
you,
we're
Pamela.
going to test the updates that we've tried, and hopefully it's all going to tie together.
Perfect. Rochelle, real quick, Pamela said she sent you, a report. Did we receive that and I missed it?
Pam didn't send a report. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Janita sent the report.
Janita.
That was the,
Did you
yeah,
send it
that
to
was
us
the
and I missed
complaints.
it?
That was the complaints report that we just reviewed.
Right. Did we get a
So it was
copy
all
of
in the
it?
link.
Okay,
Yeah,
it
I
was in
can
the link.
resend it, but it was all with the meeting documents that were sent out.
All right, somehow I missed it, so I apologize.
We never got
Okay.
I
Okay,
read it. It is in the link that she sent out most recently with the agenda. It's in there.
Thank you. I printed everything off, but I must have missed that one.
Yeah,
So
no
thank
worries. I'll
you.
resend it too. So
All right,
no
thank
problem.
you. All right, so now we're gonna go back to number 2, minutes of previous meeting. Review of the minutes. So we have 2 sets of minutes, the September 17th, 2025, that was our regular meeting. And then October 29th, 2025 was a special meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the September 17th, a motion in a second? And then we'll have discussion. I'll make a motion to approve the September 17th, 2025 minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. That was Ben, correct?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, does anyone have any discussion on those minutes? Any recommended changes? I looked through them. I thought they were fine. Okay, so everybody in favor of approving those minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, those minutes are passed. Now we'll move on to the October 29th, 2025 special meeting minutes. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Ben seconded, and does anyone have any comments? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? All right, motion passed. Both sets of minutes are approved. Now I'm going to move on to comments or concerns of any person present. Does anyone have anything to talk about that's not on the agenda? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move on. We've already heard from DCP complaint and inspection and legal. I'm going to move on to old business. So item A is public education and promotion. We talked about moving the mobile home park visit to spring of 2026, which is on my plate, and I'm going to have to work on that. And then House on the Hill 2026 legislative session. Mark Asnes was helping me with that. He is absent today. So we'll put that on the agenda of the next meeting to try to get some more specifics. So now we're on to old business item B, which is a continuation of general and legislative discussion. And we actually got a little farther down the list at the special meeting. We got to rent regulation. We got to talked about zoning at the special meeting, the Mobile Manufactured Home Advisory Council for process for transparent legislation, which we agreed that we would do in meeting form and have special meetings if needed. We spoke about zoning, probate, blight, right of condemnation, rent regulation, and a proposed statute requiring parks to establish inspection programs for on-site fire hydrants and utility poles, and right of first refusal statute. So we've actually sort of, I think we made it up to, I'm not sure if we had time to do the right of first refusal statute. I don't see anything in my notes. And I know that Rafi Podolsky would like to talk about some of the new legislation that the governor signed in House Bill 8002, which I believe is oddly, my Council of Governments named it 25-2, but the bill says it's Public Act 25-1. I'm not sure what, I haven't verified what the Public Act number is. I'm sure Rafi knows, but I'm gonna call it House Bill 8002 that the governor has now signed. It's a large housing bill. It's approximately 107 pages, which I've been working my way through, and actually the Council of Governments are having a meeting right now to talk about what towns have to do to comply with this statute. But they're recording it for me so that I can hear what they have to say after, since I'm on this meeting. They changed the time on me, so I could not attend. Rafi, are you there?
Well, I'm here, but I take it nobody can hear me.
I can hear you okay now.
Can I be heard?
Yeah, she said yes,
Yes.
Rafi.
All right, okay. Then I think the main thing that affects mobile home parks that people should know about was the change in 8-2. Liz sent something out about this right before the meeting today. The existing statute, there's in the State Zoning Act, there's an existing statute that I would summarize as saying that zoning cannot discriminate against mobile homes or mobile home parks as long as the units are at least 22 feet wide. And the statute struck the language that said it have to be at least 22 feet wide. So that what the statute now says is zoning ordinances, and again, this is my interpretation, cannot discriminate against mobile manufactured housing or mobile manufactured home parks, period. And it takes out the requirement that all the units have to be at least 22 feet wide. And it seems to me that that is a change that is potentially helpful in terms of developing new parks. I communicated with Mark Asness about this, and one of the things Mark said to me was that part of the problem for developing parks is there's not sufficient density, and it's not clear that this change addresses that. In other words, if you think of it, I mean, the way I've thought of it is the town cannot impose rules for a park that would be more restrictive than they would say for a subdivision. But if the assumption is in a subdivision, you could limit the density in a way that you wouldn't be able to develop a park because you need more density in a park. But then the statutory change, while it's helpful in the right direction because it makes it irrelevant what the width of the mobile homes are, it doesn't necessarily solve the problem of actually creating parks. So that's sort of an open question, and it was something I had not appreciated before. In any event, I think that's the main thing in 8002 that is related to mobile home parks in particular, as distinct from just zoning changes that are more generally geared towards pushing towns in the direction of more receptivity towards density.
And
Does
I
that
would,
help? Does that help as an explanation?
it does. And Dave, I was gonna get in before you. I didn't raise my own hand, but you'll be next. And Mark, you'll be next as well. From a zoning perspective, okay, the current 8-2 has that 22-foot wide limitation. I agree with Rafi that they struck the minimum size requirement from the statute. One thing, the current statute and the statute and the current says built in accordance with federal manufactured home construction and safety standards or on lots containing such manufactured home, including mobile manufactured home parks, if those conditions and requirements are substantially different from conditions and requirements imposed on single-family dwellings, lots containing single-family dwellings or multifamily dwellings, lots containing multifamily dwellings, cluster developments, or planned unit developments. The problem that I see from a zoning perspective is towns can't impose restrictions any greater than, multifamily dwellings, okay? So, or if it's allowed by special permit in the zone, it would have to do that. The problem is most towns don't have regulations that allow mobile manufactured home parks. So even though it says you can't impose restrictions on mobile manufactured home parks any more than you would do for a multifamily dwelling site plan, most towns do not have regulations that allow mobile manufactured home parks. So what I see here is that in Ledyard, believe it or not, where I work, and I haven't had a chance to change it because we're doing a big housekeeping, they don't allow mobile home parks on individual lots, which is totally against 8-2. So my predecessor, when she wrote the regulations, she must not have even known about that. And I would guarantee you that there are many planners or town zoning folks that don't know about that requirement, because the girl that was in my place before is a pretty smart planner, but yet put that in there. Didn't realize it was, the zoning regulations shall not, right? There's a list of things that zoning regulations shall not. So the question is, if you don't allow manufactured home parks, do you have to with respect to this regulation? And I don't know that that's what the regulation says. The last one that came in ledgered was a mobile manufactured home park. They're not permitted in the town by right or even special permit. So the applicant came in with an 830G application. And it was a nice little, 10-unit mobile home park, but that's my 2 cents with respect to zoning. I don't know that that section says you have to allow mobile manufactured home parks. It just says if you do, you can't impose any greater restrictions than multifamily developments. Anybody have something to say? Dave, your hand was up, and then Mark, and now your hands are down.
Well, I'm going to defer to Mark because I read what you sent. I had read it before. I thought it meant that towns like where I live, Southington, that already has numerous mobile home parks, but now outlaws them or prohibits them. I thought they were going to be forced to say, okay, you can build them. But now you've introduced another something that I didn't catch. So I'd like, I know that the density has come up as part of this discussion. And I'd like to hear from Mark. It's my understanding as an appraiser that most mobile home parks have a density using a 5,000 square foot lot size of probably, I don't know, after you take out roads and what else you need to set aside, you're probably looking at what, 4 to 6 units per acre, Mark? I'd like to know what the density would be for a modern mobile home park to be successful.
So just for example, Montville, the town I used to work in, they allow mobile manufactured home parks by special permit, and I don't know if they still do. I'm trying to pull it up right now. You have to have a minimum of 10 acres. There's no density requirement, but you have to have a minimum of 10 acres and be connected to public water. So,
Yeah.
These are not restrictions that a town, or at least the towns that I've worked in, would place on a proposed new multifamily development. So I think that when speaking with you guys, the towns really, really have to look hard at their regulations. But the question becomes, if you don't allow them in your town now, do you have to have them? I don't take that from from 8-2. So Mark, do you want to add to this conversation?
No, other than saying initially, Rafi brought up the issue of density and he's spot on. So that's obviously a concern. And Liz, you bring up even a greater concern in that every town has their own zoning regulations. So until some of these things are tested and somebody wants to develop a new mobile home community in a particular town, I'm not sure we know for sure which side of the rewritten statute things would fall on until it's actually tested. I mean, perhaps Rafe, you can answer that better, but I would defer to a land use attorney to answer that question.
Rafi, you're up.
So the same situation. I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can anyone?
Yes, Rafi, they can hear you.
Is, first of all, I don't agree with Liz on what I think you cannot have a prohibition across the board on mobile home parks. But I think we should do two things from a council perspective. One is, if we think the statute is not adequate, as Liz has in effect said, then I think we should figure out what we want the statute to say. And we ought to go to the legislature in 2026 and ask them to adjust the statute to match to what we think the right policy should be. So that'd be the first thing. The second thing, though, is I also think we should go to the Attorney General and say our read of the statute is that you cannot have an across-the-board prohibition, that violates the statute. I understand we have to figure out if we agree on that interpretation or not, and ask the Attorney General, at least in regard to those towns that have total bans on the creation of mobile home parks, that they have to change that. Maybe they can regulate it in certain ways. They can put limits on that are similar to limits on other kinds of multi-use properties, but they can't do an across-the-board prohibition. And to get the process started by which towns to do this are forced to at least relook at their zoning ordinances to see how they can fix them. So my recommendation is that we should be doing those two things in that area. And we need to figure out ourselves what we actually think the wording should be. And for that, I continue to believe we need to have some kind of either formal or informal subgroup meetings so people can actually do things like work out language together. But that's a process that would only come into play if we decide we're going to try and do something like that.
I think that's a good idea. I think we have to do it formally in a special meeting, but I think that's something because, my interpretation of that statute does not. So most towns' regulations don't quote unquote prohibit mobile manufactured home parks, but they have a regulation that says if it's not specifically permitted, then it's prohibited, right? So, like Ledger does not permit mobile manufactured home parks. I'm going to be trying to change that. But, that's something I have to put forward in a draft. But understanding that having the statute back up that change is pretty important, I think, right? Like, so most towns didn't allow single mobile manufactured homes on standalone lots for a long time until the statute said you shall not discriminate against a mobile manufactured home. And if it's located on a lot, if it's 22 feet wide. Now they've removed that. They've removed that language. So now towns can't discriminate against a mobile manufactured home of any size on a standalone lot. But I think the mobile home park part of this is not clear that towns shall allow mobile home parks. And remember, out of all the towns, which are 169 towns in Connecticut, they're all different. You're going to have little tiny towns that have zero public infrastructure, zero. So how do towns that have public infrastructure, public water, public sewer, versus towns that have none of that? How are they going to allow that? It would have to be on a piece of property that was large enough to have an on-site wastewater treatment facility approved by DEEP, a community water system. It's a tough ask of a lot of small communities here. But I think, if the council got together and put some language together for the next session, I think that would be helpful. Rafe, your hand is still up. Do you want to speak again?
No, not this. I would like to get in if you go back to the right of first refusal, which you sort of passed over. But on this note, I've said what I have to say on this.
Okay. Dave, do you have anything to say on this one? And then we'll go back to right of first refusal.
When is our next regularly scheduled meeting is early February?
Yes.
So the session starts like on February 1st or something, I think, or right around the same time. So if we're going to try to do a subcommittee, we would have to meet at least once before that, I would think, and maybe twice. So if you're going to try to do that, I think, and there might be other subjects that we could talk about for legislative subcommittee as well. We need to probably set some dates.
The only date I'm available in December, if it's going to be a special meeting on a Wednesday, is the 17th. I'm going to be away the last 2 weeks and I'm pretty booked up, and I'm completely booked up like all day next Wednesday, the 10th. Because we don't have to have it on a Wednesday. But maybe what I'll do is I'll ask Rochelle to send an email to everyone with a few dates in December. It's a tough month. People go on vacation. It's Christmas, the holidays. And if not in December, very early in January. Maybe the first
I think
full
that's,
week in January.
I think that's a logical way to proceed, to send out and ask for dates. I would think, in both months. Ask for dates in both months.
Okay. I can tell you, Rochelle, I am available on the 17th, which is a Wednesday.
So do you guys, are you guys gonna do a committee for this, or you want to do
No.
a special meeting with the whole board?
It'll be a special
council,
meeting.
I
I
should say.
think that's the right way to do it. And I think that the attorney we spoke with last time agreed it should be a special meeting. Which would be limited to just discussions of legislation. Like the last one. So, Rochelle, I can get with you afterwards and look at some dates, and then if we can send them out to folks. A little concerned about December being a tough time, but let's try it. I'm up for giving it a try in December.
Yeah,
I
because
think
if you guys have a committee and are less than a quorum, you guys can just meet outside, like it doesn't have to be posted. We don't have to be recording it or anything like that. So if you guys don't get enough people to do a full meeting, you guys could still, have conversations about it. It just can't be a full. It can't
Okay.
be 7 people having a conversation unless it's posted, basically. So
Right.
I should be able to do the 17th.
Well, let's see if we can get a special meeting together, and if you're available, Rochelle. If not, we'll have to talk about having a committee meeting and get as many people as we can there. I think it's important we start this month sometime. And that will give me a little bit of time to absorb this news, all this new housing bill, because I've read it quickly, but I haven't really absorbed it yet.
It's only 100 pages. What's the problem?
107, come on. Okay, does anyone else have any comments? We're going to either have a special meeting or committee meeting in December. If we're not able to get a quorum, then I'll touch base with the members about doing a committee meeting. And we'll go from there. Now, Rafi, we're going to get back to right of first refusal.
Yeah,
You're
I
up.
just want to say part of this is we're making an effort for people to talk about what kind of legislative issues they may want to be bringing up, and I guess I just want, in the interest of candor, say that one of the frustrations that has happened with the piece of the right of first refusal, which was not fully anticipated, was that that what essentially that allows an entity, unlike say in the state of Maine, where you have to separate out, even if you're doing a portfolio sale of multiple parks, you have to separate out a separate price for each one of them. And the fact that our statute is being interpreted that you don't have to do that is essentially making it impossible for people to buy parks, and especially to buy their own park from the very people that the statute was designed to address most, which is out-of-state investors that are coming in and buying a whole bunch of parks. And because obviously people in the park are not going to buy 6 other parks. They're going to buy their own park. And there's litigation in Massachusetts in which the Massachusetts statute has been interpreted to mean that that the seller has to separate out the individual parks and offer a price that can be matched for the individual park. So it seems to me that we need to fix that aspect of the statute. The effort to exclude that simply doesn't work. It doesn't allow people to buy the parks. So it's kind of like we have a purchase statute that you can't use, except in what's become the unusual situation where people are simply selling one park. And so my hope is, I understand that the park owners, 2 years ago, when the statute was being passed, wanted to protect the right to not have a portfolio sale split into its constituent parts. So I understand that. But my hope is that there's going to be room for agreement. And so I would like to see, I just want people to know, I think the issue is going to come up. It would be good if it was something that the residents and the park owners could talk about in advance. But I think it's an important issue and people should know that. And it's because it's what it is, more than anything else, it is keeping our statute from working. And the goals should be, there are other changes that can be made in the statute that I think actually people might all agree with, that would be designed to and some other states have it, that would be designed to sort of encourage and promote resident ownership of mobile home parks and make it easier for residents to succeed in doing that. But this one particular thing I think is quite an obstacle and needs to be, we just need to address it. It hasn't worked the way we thought it might work. So I
Okay,
just want to put that on the table so people know it's something we can talk about as a group on December 17th or in smaller subgroups, whatever. So just so you know, okay?
great, thank you. I would agree that's something that I had not anticipated when I read that. I don't know how the mobile manufactured home owners feel about that, but we can talk about that in December when hopefully we have more owners here. Mark, do you have any comment right now?
I mean, it's complicated, right? And that was contemplated when the legislation was written by the community owners and the tenant advocates. If you look at it from a community owner perspective, say you own 3 communities in the state and you're selling it as a package sale because that's beneficial for you, or you're getting out of the business, you're retiring or whatnot. Now you're asking that community owner to split out each one of those communities, which could be an impediment to getting the highest price for all the properties if you have to split it out as is being suggested. So it's a complicated issue. It's one that was contemplated initially. I know it was contemplated at least by the community owners, and yeah, that's all I have to really say about that. So it's not a black and white issue. It's I know we're trying to do what's best for community owners, I hope, and tenants, but this may be one that we perhaps may not agree on. But I can't speak for the entire association on that.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate your comments.
Yep.
Does anyone have any other comments right now? Because we are through our agenda items. We have.
There's one other subject that I hope we could look at jointly, perhaps, that I just want to mention, and that is a number of years ago we tried. Mark Berkowitz may recall. I think Mark was involved at the time. The way the statutes work was they used to say whatever rights tenants have under the Landlord-Tenant Act also apply to park residents in mobile home parks. And the park owners wanted the statute to actually take those things that are in the Landlord-Tenant Act and put them into the Mobile Home Park Act so that everything about mobile home parks would be in the same place. And what's happened over the years has been, as some statutes have been adopted to strengthen tenant rights under in the Landlord Tenant Act, nobody thought at the time that there ought to be a parallel amendment to the mobile home park statute to keep them the same. The whole point was not to not have the rights apply, but to have them in the statute, in the same statute, so people could look at the Mobile Home Park Act if it was a mobile home park, and you would see all your rights there. The result is, when you look at things, we now have some rights for tenants that as a matter of course you would think would apply to mobile home park residents, but arguably don't. I mean, as a lawyer, I could make the argument they do anyway. But I would like to see us, and I would call this quasi-technical, but there's plenty of room for people to object, that things that in the past, really 25 years, have been added as renter rights also should be treated as rights of the residents of mobile home parks, because there have been improvements in those renter rights over those years that technically, at least arguably, had not been given to mobile home park residents, which doesn't make any sense, because in theory, mobile home park residents have more rights than tenants in apartments, not less rights. So I would like to see us take a look at that and see if there was room for agreement. Again, it may show up from some of us as a proposal with or without agreement, but if there was a way to see if we could find agreement in advance, I think that'd be a good thing. So again, interest of transparency, just want people to know about it. And we can talk about it on December 17th.
That sounds good. Thank you, Rafi. Okay, does anyone have any other comments?
Yeah, I got my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave.
No worries.
It's up.
I just very briefly, I want to address what Mark said. I appreciate that that it's acknowledged that it is a gray area. I'll just add that since the statute, the right of first refusal statute, went into effect on October 23, we've had no closings of mobile home parks. That's 2 years now. And so we're still in a position of Connecticut having between 1% and 2% of manufactured home parks that are resident owned, whereas in the states that have had right of first refusal or some form of it for 20 or 30 years, that percentage is 20 to 30%. So, and we just had a situation where residents were at first offered a right of first refusal that had the park separated out by individual parks. And when the first park organized and sent a letter, certified letter, that they wanted to investigate park purchase of their own park, the park owner immediately got another lawyer, rescinded the original right of first refusal, and said you have to buy all the 7 park portfolio, which has now been sold, and that went to another out-of-state corporation. I just want to find out if it's a gray area. I just hope you keep an open mind and think about how we might be able to incentivize, further incentivize, and make it more attractive to park owners to sell to residents, because that's what's happened in other states and it's led to some success.
Okay, any other comments from anybody? Okay, that being said, we're going to try to put together a special meeting on December 17th. Rochelle will send out, she'll send out an email to everybody. And if there's nothing else, we are at item, let me see, committee reports. We don't have any committee reports. I have no correspondence, so we're at number 10, adjournment. Would someone like to make the motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Dave, second?
Yep, second.
Mike, second? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, meeting's adjourned at 11:33 a.m. and I'll see hopefully as many as possible on December 17th, which is a Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Liz.
All right,
Thank
everyone
you.
have a good day. Thank you.
Sure, bye-bye.